We also have the pomegranate. Luckily, it's also it's fruiting. There's a small little fruit there, and it's flowering.
And you've got custard apple, I see, is also fruiting at the front there as well.
Yes, yes, yes. And all of them in sacks. All of them in sacks.
Yeah.
All of them growing well. I believe if I had more space and they got more sunlight, these trees would be much taller than they are right now. But still proof that you can do a lot with this.
Yeah, container gardening is a thing that people can do effectively. I'm actually impressed in terms of by your tamarind here.
Yes, yes. Another aggressive grower. I don't know if it's because they survive well in our weather, or
they do, but they tend to also like ones that have quite a bit of moisture around as well. From what I've seen in Zambia, they're more riverine kind of based trees that do need, they can't stand really dry areas, but they like areas where there's decent water available for them effectively.
We've got jackfruit here. We've got some spices. You know, I always forget the name of this tree, but I remember it from the Bible story. Jesus cursed it. Fig.
The fig, yeah.
Yes.
This is Ficus carica, the one that is the edible fig usually.
Yes, yes.
The one that are much nicer than our indigenous figs. Yeah, I know, it's a fantastic plant as well.
Yes.
Hi there, Nick here from Greenspace Zambia, and we are with
Shadrack Mwelwa.
Shadrack Mwelwa, and we are here in your little nursery in the Meanwood area of Lusaka. Do you want to give us a little bit of a background as to how you ended up here and where your passion has come from for growing plants, and especially those plants that are not just about beautifying our landscapes, but also that have other uses as well?
It starts from my childhood. I grew up my mom grew up on a farm, so there was always stories about the farm and farming. So I've always had a love for plants. I've always had a love for nature, sceneries. Later on, that grew into me wanting to now have my own farm, have my own space that I could make my own. And then it was a challenge of how do we then get from what I want using what I have. Yeah. And I didn't have that much space, but I had a lot of gusto, I guess would be the word. Yeah.
What are some of the challenges you've kind of had to overcome to then get to this point?
Quite a few.
Because we're obviously in a bit of a developed area. There's soil that you've obviously had to find and bring in. Containers is always a big one, especially if you don't have an unlimited wallet effectively on those kinds of sides. So how have you kind of overcome those challenges as well? Where do you source your materials?
So when it came to containers, it was an issue of what can mimic the ground in a good way. Plastic containers are nice, but they hold water. They don't breathe. Yeah. And so sacks was a very good alternative. I get these from, when you go to your chain stores, there are these people who manage each product. Yeah. And so for like the people who manage stuff like chicken or whatever, they always have like extra sacks.
Yeah, because they kind of bring the things in them, they get taken out of the thing, and then they're left with that, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So it's really great. They biodegrade. So every now and then you have to change them. There was that. There was finding a way of storing the plants. Yeah. And then there was finding good soil.
Which is a paramount, effectively.
Yes. And developing good soil takes time. So you couldn't just be like, oh, I'll have a compost heap and I'll just wait for 6 months. Yeah. So, I had to learn about mulching, which is how do I keep the soil wet during the dry season. Yeah. Also, it provides nutrients. nutrients. My neighbor once asked me, she was like, "Oh, so you don't use any fertilizers?" This was before I started using the fertilizer I use now.
That you make up, yeah.
Yes. She was like, I was like, "Yeah, no, it's just the big mulberry tree. It drops leaves every year, constantly, and I just put them in the sacks."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, which will help, on the nutrient side, but as well as you say, then for our long dry season, it helps to at least keep the soil cool for the roots as well, which is a good thing, I think.
Yes.
All right. Well, I see you've actually got quite a few things here. Do you want to kind of take us through and show us a bit of what you have?
Definitely, yes. Yes. When I was building the nursery, it was like, okay, so what are people growing already that can attract them, and then they can see all these other things.
Yeah.
We have granadillas.
For which you've actually got some growing into the above trees and also started to form fruits.
Yes, and these are the purple kind, although they haven't yet ripened, so they still look green. Really beautiful plant. We've got some strawberries. This is
sorry?
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say you got the fiddle leaf fig, another type of fig here.
Yes. This I got for someone, a customer who wanted them specifically.
Oh, okay.
So already taken, but a very beautiful plant.
Yeah.
So this section was supposed to be. It works the same thing. We're working with small spaces. So the table acts as a shield from the sunlight. The big trees act as the initial shield, and then the table acts as a secondary shield. And then I can also store plants on top of it.
Yeah.
So like mostly this is like the section for indoor plants or potted plants. And then beneath it I can store the little seedlings.
Yeah, things that are coming up and growing effectively like that.
Yes.
But you do have quite a few fruits in here as well.
Yes.
You know, I see the waterberry. Sorry?
Oh, what? You called it waterberry?
Waterberry with those purple fruits that have kind of the insipid.
I thought that was Java plant.
Yeah, no, it's one and the same effectively.
Okay.
It's not our indigenous one. I think it comes from Southeast Asia or something like that. But that does produce those little. I shouldn't say little. They're decent size. Those purple fruits that you can eat if you want.
Yes.
Again, very very fast and happy tree to get growing, and then. But it produces a lot. It can grow a lot. You've got grape growing through here. I saw pomegranate and
avocados as well.
Yeah, the avocado, just coming up there. Your mulberry, which acts as your above ground, and then something that I find even more interesting. You've got the winged yam.
Yes. Wow, this especially. A quick note on the winged yam. Very aggressive grower.
Yes.
I was so impressed at how quickly it grew. I can't wait for it to start producing yams.
Is it in a pot or is it in the ground?
No, it's in a sack.
It is in a sack.
It is in a sack as well. Everything here is in a sack.
Yeah.
And another interesting thing about the sacks, as the trees grow and mature, they'll sometimes the roots will break out of the sack and go into a neighboring sack. And it's amazing just to see how nature strives to survive and also Ragoon creeper mixed in with all the
it's just even a beautiful tree ornamentally. The ferny foliage and
I love the red tips. That always gets me. It's very beautiful.
The thing with gardening is that even if you are doing something that's more other than just pure ornamentation, that is for production, things like that, you can actually bring a lot of ornamentation into it with certain selections and appreciating the different colors that, either different leaves come out or different fruits ripen to or things along those lines. So, and even shapes.
Yes.
Comfrey is not exactly usually one planted for ornamentation, but it has a nice architectural shape as it grows and that arching of the leaves and things like that. But it's also grown more for
its health benefits. You can use it as a fertilizer. It's edible. People make because it's also used for pain relief.
Oh really?
Yes.
Oh yeah, a compress.
Yes.
Like that. Yeah, I've heard about that.
Yes. So it's really a versatile plant, and also it attracts bees. So really, it does so many things at one time. You kind of don't even know what to use it for. I've had so many. As we go in the back, I'll show you what I showed you earlier, the liquid fertilizer that I was just testing.
Yeah.
And so it was a question of, okay, so do I use it for mulch, or do I use it for the liquid fertilizer, or it's such a versatile plant. Everyone who comes to me and sees my garden, they're like, oh, you're so good at this. You have no idea how many plants I've killed. I'm not proud of it, but to get here, I had to try, I had to fail, I had to research. It can be done. It's really easy. It's just one step forward after the other, and you get there. There are many solutions. This world has so many solutions, and if you're open to them, and you're open to trying, and you're not afraid of failing, you will find amazing solutions to whatever agricultural problems you may be facing. Okay, I'm located in Meanwood Ibex. You can contact me on the number 097 334. My company is called EcoSprout Solutions. You can find me all over social media as well. Any prominent or big plant and gardening group, I'm on there advertising constantly every Monday and Friday. So yeah, you're always welcome. Always welcome.
Thank you very much.
This fly was in my face.